reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Yes, my Straight Talk family. Whenever you hear that theme song, you know it's time to start moving on and to keep moving on, and time to bid you a very pleasant night wherever you are in the universe, wherever you are on this globe. And the year is still a new one, and I am in order, I very well believe, to say good night or a happy new year to someone who may have joined me for the first time tonight, the first time for 2026. But we welcome all to Straight Talk, and we thank those who continue to share that link. When you do, we get first timers. And for the first timers, just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline, free expression on all issues of national, regional, and international interests, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try as well to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness, because we do so rather by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion in 2026. And I'll continue to pledge as your host to be an untiring advocate of truthfulness. And I'm always minded or reminded of the words of a hymn written by Thomas Jackson, Franz Joseph Haydn. And an excerpt goes like this. I love it. We are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and for the right, standing firm for godly justice and bringing evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we may all know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Talk family, and for the first timers in particular, let me inform you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program called Straight Talk. We never try to make it more interesting by omission or through exaggeration. Straight Talk is not about sensationalism, not at all. We're not about creating excitement, especially if that comes at the expense of accuracy, because we always strive to lean on the facts, as it's my duty to present what I call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance in the Federation or any part of the universe, any part of this world, wherever. Because we are joined together with people across the Federation, and we are joined with people in the diaspora all around the world. Some we know very well, and some we have met. Some we will never ever meet physically. We do meet spiritually, I'm certain about that with many. And some of you will agree with the truth that we advance on Straight Talk, and some will disagree. And that's acceptable. We entertain what I call a diversity of views, because we are a different people and we will have different views. But let's agree that we will never, ever become disagreeable. So my Straight Talk family, let's thank Almighty God nonetheless for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Excuse me. Let's therefore hope and pray for that day when we will all sing his praise together. Welcome again, my people, and I thank those who continue to share that link. As you bring first timers, please continue to do so. And I must hasten to inform the first timers that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean, at some stage, we include your calls and your emails. And if you're minded calling, the numbers are on your screens. There's some of you who like what I call the cloak of anonymity. You're afraid that your voices are heard for some reason. So what we do, we give you access via our email platform. And that address is also on your screens. And Straight Talk is heard as well on Alexa for those who have access to that platform. Just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. We thank Massive for the kind gesture to give us access at a nominal cost. And while we're on cost, we thank those who make contributions or have made any donations whatsoever. We thank you for supporting our efforts here on Straight Talk. And I must assure you, we don't stipulate, we don't dictate what level of contribution. Any level we accept. It helps us to keep the public discourse going. Yes, it's a public service. So others who may wish to donate, that code is on your screen. Just scan it. Very simple process. Very confidential process. And you will be part of contributing to public service. So help us to keep the dialogue alive, my Straight Talk family. And those who are always with me, you will know by now that it is imperative, it's a must, that I have to always extend a special welcome to my junior brigade. They're always with me. Yes. And I walk the streets, at times I hear Mr. Straight Talk, and I may see young Dwayne, or Tristan, or Jasmine, or Shamar, Kevin. Well, young Rue is in South Carolina, so I haven't heard from his grandmother for some time, just she's well. Jamal is also in Anguilla, so I won't hear from him. Travis, Travon, hope school is going well. My grandson Neymar, he stepped by just before I got to the studios. And I must hail him and his good friend Soraya. What about Elizabeth? Elizabeth is a new one, a new member of the brigade. And that special lady in St. Louis is always with us. We say greetings. Our observations in review is a feature that addresses current issues. We do some reflection. We ask a few questions. Some of you give me homework. I don't think I've had any homework for the new year. Thank God. But what was accomplished? How it has helped us as a people? And what we have learned new as a people? Because it's about a learning process. We're never too old to learn. So let's always strive to learn something new. And after our observations in review, we will begin our thesis for tonight, which I have titled, CBI is dead, yet some declare its long life. And on a sad note, though, before we move into the observations, I even forgot to mention in our last program the sad news of the passing of Dolores Hobson, matriarch of St. Peter's, and a very dear friend and co-worker of mine for countless years. And I know she'll be sadly missed by her families. So we extend condolences to her very close sister, Ingrid, whom I saw a few days ago. Her children, Lincoln and Judy Hobson. We also think about grandchildren Tushi, and I call her Lady Kitwana, is what I call her. And all her extended family, Lady Hanley, has been with Lady Hobson for a long time. Haven't seen you in ages. How is the big man, Lionel? But the wider St. Peter's community are left to mourn the loss of Dolores Hobson. I'm sure she'll be remembered for a long time from here on. Straight Talk also learned of the sad passing of Joyce Somerset of Prickle Pear Alley, and extend condolences as well to her entire family left to mourn her loss. Joyce and the Somersels leaves to mourn the Somersels, I should say, at Prickle Pear Alley. And Joyce, I believe, had never overcame the loss of her son Azua, who was senselessly gunned down, and apparently she has never received any word or any updates from the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis police force. That being accurate, if so, it's sad, my Straight Talk family. And notwithstanding all of the foregoing, though, we trust that those who have departed this place on earth will rest in eternal peace. And my first observation for tonight relates to a deal done in the dark, my Straight Talk family. And for a moment, with all that's been happening since last weekend, last Saturday, and cognizant of the fact that Terence Michael Drew is now the new chairman of CARICOM, that goes by rotation, so he'll be chairman for the next 6 months. But with all that's happening in the region, we did not hear from Terence Michael Drew until today. He surfaced. But he surfaced with some news that really exposed the fact that he betrayed once again the public trust. My Straight Talk family. Yes, he did.
That St. Kitts and Nevis, of course, was approached by the United States of America as the other CARICOM countries, and we took a very proactive approach in sitting with the Americans to reach an arrangement that I think that arrangement is in keeping with our principles and, of course, having the collaboration with the United States of America as well. I know we are intelligent people. I know we have been looking very closely, and I know our people understand that the geopolitical environment at this time is not what we have been accustomed to. We know that there have been shifts, and so being proactive is very important, and I want to thank our people, of course, who have been involved in this. So St. Kitts and Nevis has negotiated and entered into a memorandum of understanding with the United States of America for the potential transfer of certain third country nationals. And I want us to listen carefully, who are citizens or nationals of the Caribbean community. This does not involve anybody outside of CARICOM.
But it's even more complicated to accept refugees from other CARICOM countries. Is it that the other CARICOM countries are refusing to accept their own refugees? But what Terence Michael Drew has told us today is that the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, which he leads, has now confirmed what citizens never consented to. I broached the matter on my last program, because I got wind that he was doing some deal. And he never warned us about it. About entering into an agreement with the United States to accept refugees and deportees. And that is not leadership. That is governance by ambush. In one of the most consequential decisions affecting the sovereignty, security, and social stability of this small federation, Prime Minister Drew chose secrecy over transparency and arrogance over accountability. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis were never consulted. Parliament was not meaningfully engaged. The nation was simply informed today after a deal was already done. That is not democracy, Terence Drew. That is executive overreach. No mandate, no disclosure, no respect, Dr. Drew. And you did not campaign on turning St. Kitts and Nevis into a destination for refugees and deportees from the United States. You did not seek a mandate for it. You did not prepare the population for it. And we know that this matter was broached with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis some 2 months ago. As a matter of fact, Gaston Brown, the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, informed his people of this, my Straight Dog family.
The only thing that I am aware that would have been outstanding at the time, the United States had asked countries to sign an agreement to take refugees. Now, we would have written back to the State Department about 90 days ago, well, long before any action was taken, indicating that, look, if they have refugees or deportees for that matter, who they are trying to send to third countries, who may be involved in minor demeanors, but they have skills that can help us, we gladly take them. However, we made it abundantly clear, trying to upset nobody, but I reporting to my people, that we're not taking the criminal refugees from the third country. So, in any case, we signed an agreement which gives us the authority now that we accept whomever, and that the United States will provide intelligence. Again, I'm reporting to my people. This is not supposed to remain as no secret. I'm not trying to shade on anybody. I'm just stating what the issues are as I know them. And as far as I'm concerned, we continue to operate a government based on sound governance.
Government based on sound governance. And Gaston Brown just informed us that this was going on some 90 days ago. But instead, Terence Michael Drew negotiated behind closed doors and then announced the outcome as if public acceptance was irrelevant. This agreement was revealed only when it could no longer be questioned. That is a calculated move, not an oversight. To this moment, the government has failed to provide basic answers. How many refugees, Terence Michael Drew? How many deportees will be sent here? From which countries? What criminal or security screening is involved? To tell us that they are coming from CARICOM countries is not enough. It confuses the issue even more. Who pays for the housing? Who pays for the health care, policing, and social services? These are questions that need answers. What happens if the arrangement goes wrong? Terence Michael Drew. Can St. Kitts and Nevis withdraw? Or are we locked in forever? The silence is deafening, and I believe it is deliberate. A small nation treated like a bargaining chip. St. Kitts and Nevis is not the United States. We do not have vast land space. We do not have unlimited resources or sprawling security infrastructure. Any agreement of this nature carries real risk, and pretending otherwise is reckless. What is deeply troubling, though, is the sense that this country was offered up as a convenient partner, perhaps sweetened by diplomatic pressure or promised benefits, without regard for the long-term consequences to the population. If this government believes the people should simply trust them, then it has fundamentally misunderstood its role. Governments are custodians of power, not owners of it. Transparency after the ink dries is an insult. The Prime Minister has now begun explaining the agreement. But explanations after a deal is signed are not transparency. They are damage control. Transparency would have meant public notice, parliamentary debate, independent assessments, engagement with civil society, time for national discussion. Instead, citizens are expected to adjust their lives around a decision they had no voice in. This is not participatory governance. It is executive fiat. This is a breach of trust, Dr. Joe. And you often speak the language of reform, accountability, and people-first leadership. Yet this episode exposes a glaring contradiction between words and actions. You cannot claim to govern in the interests of the people while deliberately excluding them for another time, for another occasion, from decisions of national importance. You cannot build trust while operating in secrecy, Terence Joe. You cannot demand calm from a population that has deliberately been kept in the dark. This agreement, whatever its eventual outcomes, will forever be tainted by how it was imposed. And the Prime Minister must be held accountable. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis deserve more than reassurances and press statements. They deserve full publication of the agreement, a clear explanation of why secrecy was chosen, parliamentary scrutiny, a national conversation on whether this is the direction the country should take. Anything less is a continuation of the same disregard that created this crisis of confidence in the first place. And this is not about compassion versus cruelty, or cooperation versus isolation. This is about process and respect. Prime Minister Drew made a decision that affects every citizen in this country, and he did so without their consent. That is the core issue. And no amount of post-facto explanation can undo that failure. In a democracy, leaders answer to the people. They do not spring surprises on the people and call it governance. Do recipient countries get money from the US for accepting refugees or deportees? In practice, very often we say yes. In similar agreements worldwide, the United States has frequently provided financial material or programmatic support to recipient countries. this support does not always come as a direct cash payment and is often structured to avoid that framing. But my Straight Talk family, in many cases, the fund flows through USAID, State Department programs, UNHCR, acting as intermediaries. This indirect structure allows governments to claim we are not being paid while receiving material benefit. My Straight Talk family, as these arrangements are put in place, they are really altruistic. They are transactional. And even if no money has changed hands, yet funding is routed through international agency. Benefits are framed as development cooperation. But the key follow-up questions the journalist should ask is the U.S. providing financial or material support indirectly? Are there linked agreements to aid, to visas, security, to trade? And my Straight Talk family, are there future commitments not yet disclosed? Was this agreement negotiated alongside other bilateral benefits? If the answer to any of these is yes, then the country is benefiting materially, whether or not it is labeled as payment. And my Straight Talk family, the real question is, what, if anything, did St. Kitts Nevis receive or are promised to receive in exchange for this agreement? And why was the public not told beforehand? That's the question we must answer tonight and must ask hereafter until we get that answer. My second observation, my Straight Talk family, relates to an update given to the United Nations Security Council by the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, earlier this week on the action taken in Venezuela by law enforcement last week, Saturday.
Surgical law enforcement operation facilitated by the U.S. military against two indicted fugitives of American justice, narco-terrorist Nicolas Maduro and Celia Flores. Colleagues, Nicolas Maduro is responsible for attacks on the people of the United States, for destabilizing the Western Hemisphere, and illegitimately repressing the people of Venezuela. As Secretary Rubio has said, there is no war against Venezuela or its people. We are not occupying a country. This was a law enforcement operation in furtherance of lawful indictments that have existed for decades. The United States arrested a narco trafficker who is now going to stand trial in the United States in accordance with the rule of law for the crimes he's committed against our people for 15 years. A similar action was taken in 1989 against Manuel Noriega. He was arrested, indicted, convicted in a court of law, served in prison in the United States and in Panama, and the Panamanian people, the American people, are safer for it. And undeniably, the region was more stable. This law enforcement action was directed consistent with the President of the United States' responsibility as Commander-in-Chief to protect Americans at home and abroad against a fugitive who is directly responsible for narcoterrorism that has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans and created destabilizing violence throughout our hemisphere. Nicolas Maduro and his co-defendant, Celia Flores, have been transferred here to the United States to stand trial for their crimes. Maduro was indicted by a grand jury in the Southern District of New York.
And that was Ambassador Mike Waltz, ambassador to the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, giving the United the United Nations Security Council an update. Commander-in-Chief and President Donald Trump, he too faced the press, and he was the characteristic Donald J. Trump, relentless.
Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay? Yeah.
Well, my Straight Talk family, it does not get any clearer than that. But those are my observations in review for tonight. And without hesitation, I move right into my thesis, which I mentioned earlier. And if you just join me, I have titled, CBI is dead, yet some declare it's long life. My Straight Talk family, we have been told, beg your pardon, repeatedly, that our citizenship by investment program is dead. Yet in the same breath, one of them who helped to kill the CBI is promoting its reorientation from within with a view towards looking, in his words, meaningful investment. I'm not one who tried to kill the program in so many ways. Made a Facebook post just a few days ago and declared that the CBI is dead. Long live the CBI. But we all must be wary. Yes, we must be cautious, because this same man told us that when he went to law school over 30 years ago, 3 decades ago, he graduated #1 in the Caribbean, #1 in class, my Straight Talk family. This man, who is bright like a 25-watt bulb, told us that nobody could outsmart him. And we must remind you of this.
When I graduated law school at the Norman Manley Law School in 1994, Mark Brantley from Henley Park and Brownhill was #1 in the Caribbean at Norman Manley Law School. And I went to Jamaica in 1994 and I graduated #1 in class. I got a certificate of merit. It was only the 4th time in the history of the Norman Manley Law School that a certificate of merit had been awarded. You know why I'm saying that? I am saying that because nobody could outsmart me.
And you heard that for yourselves, my Straight Talk family. Nobody could outsmart me. But he is still trying to enthusiastically declare a long life for a program, one that from its very inception has been fraught with corruption and facilitated money laundering by illicit actors. This contradiction is not merely ironic, it is hypocritical and deeply revealing when he uses a tone where and acts as if what he is saying is true when it really is not. Because Mark Brantley was clearly behind the destruction of the CBI in an attempt to get at Timothy Harris. And he never cared about mashing up the program, even though he came back saying this.
I ask the question, why would any of us join with anybody from outside to destroy a program that has served all of us.
What a lie. Because the mindset of Mark Brantley reminds me of 15th century France, when the phrase, "the king is dead, long live the king," that phrase was proclaimed from the instant the coffin of the old monarch descended into the church vault. That declaration was less about truth than about preserving continuity and power, regardless of the circumstances. Today, the same logic appears to be at play. One program must be buried to legitimize another. Yes, kill the CBI in its current form and bring the controversial project called Destiny, even when the latter's record is far from troubling. 5.5 thousand shares sold on the prison project. They call it a scam. So what is 10,000 shares to be sold on the Destiny? A game changer, they call it. That's what they call it. It's not a scam. It's a game changer.
The establishment of the Special Sustainability Zone, the first of its kind within the Eastern Caribbean, must be seen as a new and proactive approach to public-private sector partnership for development. The build-out of activities within the zone will be a game changer for Nevis, not only elevating our prominence within the region, but also generating significant economic activity across various sectors during both the construction and operational phases. The proposed Destiny development, which is expected to occupy just over 2,000 acres of land, is akin to a high-end ultra-luxury villa and resort development. This development will position Nevis as a destination for high-end investment, surpassing any scale of development that we have seen in our sub-region. Once we have completed the final negotiations, we'll be in a better position to advise all residents of both St. Kitts and Nevis. The final agreement will be brought to this assembly, for ratification, and will be made public as part of the legislative process.
But my straight talk family, what is striking is not the criticism of our CBI program, as no public policy should be beyond scrutiny, but it is the selective nature of the criticism that's troubling, my straight dog family. Standards that are rigidly applied in one case are conspicuously relaxed in another. And I think of the prison project versus the Destiny project, which is before us, and Mark Brantley seemed to be in a mad rush, according to this well-known, well-established division.
Is that the attitude that the leaders, is the premier in particular, has been having or hosting, as it relates to all the outreach that has been made by all these different groups, and we recognize it's a serious matter, and for us to arrest the matter, put us squarely up against the government, squarely. There's no two ways about it. And we, with that, we got, that is why it was a mad rush for us to get counsel. And we got, like I said, we got counsel and who is the right attorneys for this, in terms of Kessie, who is the right Kessie to fight this matter. And the counsel who gave us, we're talking about people of great standing in the legal profession. People who serve at the highest level in the world. Some of these people, we're talking to. And because you must recognize that within our group, we have people who are well connected.
And my straight talk family, Yasin Tafari and Baki King did well in the interview with Glendale Herbert, coordinator of this civic-minded organization, to uncover the allegations of corruption, the weak due diligence, and exposure to illicit financial flows that are dismissed or downplayed when they are politically inconvenient. And the spokesperson for this concerned group of citizens made it quite clear that it would not end well. My Straight Dog family made it quite clear.
To get to your question, how do we feel if the Premier signed? I don't know, the Premier is under a lot of pressure. He's under the pressure from the prospective developer. I see the yachts out here since last week. It's been, this morning again, outside of Four Seasons. Then he has the pressure of the country, and like I said, civil society, which controls the tax base of the country, and the spending base of the country, and which control the congregations of this country. And with civil society activated and civil society frontal directly, he has something to account for. Because you have to speak to civil society. You can't disrespect civil society. You can't disrespect the pastors. You can't disrespect them. He would have to account. So I understand the rest he's on, but he has to make that decision. Whatever it is, he's created it without consult. And I have often said that, when you're in that position, you don't know everything. You ought to consult. And people have much more wisdom. And it's good. It's good to get not to get too attached to your own hubris, meaning your own sense of self-import. And it is wise to consult. Particularly, you just don't get giddy in the head because a man offered you something. You have an awesome responsibility. And somebody said to me, well, what is to me? He has to ask himself, what is the value of this, and where does it end? I've said to it, it's not going to end well.
He's got guilt in his head, he said. But this double standard undermines the credibility of the entire debate. Because if integrity, transparency, and national security are truly the concerns, then they must be applied consistently. Otherwise, proclamations about the death of one program and the longevity of another ring hollow, serving more as a political theater than principled analysis. The Premier Mark Brantley and his NIA must consult the people, really consult them, but perhaps it's too late, because he avoided the people who hold the power and avoided real consultation. Instead, it happened or started long ago.
You have to consult, and the way this was done in such a underhanded way, and this has been going on from 2017. Roger Ver bought his first properties in Nevis in 2017. Right, it was his first big purchase. And this has been going on, contemplated, and the man Jensen, you guys who hosted him, said he's been plotting and thinking this through over 10 years. So to bring it to the people and how this broke, and pushing through the SSC and St. Kitts and all this other thing, quietly and acquiring land.
And my Straight Talk family, Premier Mark Anthony Graham Brantley lied to his people, as he must have known that his wife Sharon Mama Brantley was contacting landowners since 2022 or before. And this Glendale Herbert confirmed that he was contacted by Sharon Mama Brantley.
I was called since about 2.5, 3 years ago, maybe 2022, we opened when? All right, 2023, November. Yeah, I think it was. No, sorry, 2022, November, the first call. Our family's properties. and by the Premier's wife. I was aghast at the call. I was very annoyed. And the second time the call, I asked him, I was very belligerent in my response. Found it affronting. I didn't know anything about Destiny. I didn't know anything what the needs were, but I found it offensive because nobody is indicating an interest in anything.
And who is the Premier's wife? Sharon Mama Brantley. And Herbert said he was offended. But in the end, my Straight Dog family, the question is not which program survives, but whether honesty and accountability can. The people must be consulted to get the answer. Don't just bring people from Mars or any place.
But you can't willy-nilly just change the country and say, well, okay, fine, I've been elected, so now what I'm going to do because I'm elected now, I'm going to bring down people from Mars, and I'm going to put them amongst you. You understand? And force 5,000 people from Mars. I'll just give you an example. And I'm going to put them, you know nothing about them, right? Give them an enclave. Give them their own laws, and they're going to live here and second. And because you're a premier, because you've been elected for 4 or 5 a cycle, particular. That is why they give you a cycle. We give you a cycle. We, since we're civil society, agreed. And if you go back for the formation of democracies, separation of church and state, that's what it goes back to. We allow you to run the country. Civil society stays back. And it's called a social compact that we have, an agreement. But you can't go beyond your bounds. You have to consult the people. They own the country. You can't forget that.
Social compact, honesty, and accountability. Without them, my Straight Dog family, we risk repeating history, celebrating the coronation of a new king, while ignoring the rot that lies beneath the crown. And civil servants, I echo the view of Herbert. Civil servants must stand up for their rights and stop being afraid, as you cannot easily or be easily fired.
For some reason, politicians got run away in the head around here for some time that they own the country, and they control the largest, they use the largest of the state, the tax base, the taxpayers, the monies that they collect from the civil society to spend. And they use that largest and give it to people and say, you pick winners or losers in society. And one of the things that happens in this country, 50 to 60% of the entire workforce is civil servants. But a lot of them are appointed. Most of them, overwhelming majority of them are appointed. But yet they're scared of their own shadows. They can't do anything. They can't fire you. And you need to understand you own the country. You can do anything. But you have rights. You cannot fire. What are you going to fire the whole civil service and move them from one place to another? But people forget. They're not thinking. We've been in a state of paralysis, mental paralysis around the people as well.
Yes, they're intimidated. And my Straight Dog family, we live in a world defined by unpredictability, uncertainty, and complexity. It is a world where power still matters, where strength often overrides principle, and where small states must confront an uncomfortable truth. Geopolitics is not a game designed for the weak. In such an environment, survival is not guaranteed by eloquent speeches or historical sentiment, but by the capacity to act decisively, to influence outcomes, and when necessary, to use every legitimate tool available to protect the national interest. It is within this harsh global reality that debate over citizenship by investment, CBI, must be understood. Some continue to proclaim its longevity, insisting that CBI is alive and well. Yet the evidence increasingly suggests otherwise. CBI, yes, my Straight Dog family, CBI as it has traditionally operated, is no longer fit for the geopolitical, legal, and security landscape that now governs international relations. In truth, CBI is dead. What remains is a political illusion sustained by rhetoric, denial, and inertia by the Straight Dog family. That's what obtains, I dare say. The European Commission, I broached this matter with you before, has been unequivocal. Its revised visa suspension mechanism is not a theoretical instrument. It is an actionable policy explicitly linked to concerns about national security, irregular migration, and the facilitation of genuine links between CBI beneficiaries and third countries, my Straight Dog family. And they have made it quite clear, pellucid, my Straight Dog family. For small states that depend on visa-free access and international credibility, this is not a warning to be debated endlessly. It is a red line. Yet, despite this clarity, my Straight Dog family, there remains a troubling complacency among leaders who speak as though yesterday's assurances still hold value in today's strategic environment. My Straight Dog family, governance in the modern era is no longer about declarations from podiums. It is about national security architecture, enforceable legal frameworks, credible due diligence systems, human development, and sustainable foreign direct investment. A CBI program that has existed for over 40 years should not, in 2026, still be vulnerable to illicit actors, reputational risk, or external sanctions. Longevity without reform is not a badge of honor. It is evidence of stagnation. Equally troubling is the persistent reliance on economic narratives that sound ambitious but deliver little. Economic diversification has become a slogan rather than a strategy. The tired discourse on geothermal energy remains entangled in legacy issues and unfulfilled promises. Agricultural diversification is often reduced to buzzwords, while grand claims about wealth flowing from marijuana production, job creation from boutique agro-industries, or transformative national projects are repeated without measurable outcomes. Talk of new hospitals, schools, and industries has become a substitute for actual execution. This disconnect between rhetoric and reality is dangerous. In a world that punishes weakness, empty promises are not neutral. They are liabilities. States that fail to adapt, reform, and deliver are not simply left behind. They are actively sidelined by stronger, more agile actors who understand the credibility, or that credibility is currency. Declaring long-live CBI without fundamentally reimagining its purpose, governance, and role in national development is an act of self-deception. If CBI is to have any future, it cannot exist as a cash for passports mechanism, insulated by global scrutiny. It must be embedded within a broader national security framework aligned with international norms and subordinated to a serious strategy for human capital development and diversified productive investment. Anything less, its demise. In conclusion, my Straight Dog family, this is not merely a debate about a program. It is a referendum on leadership. When we look, for example, or we listen to Terence Michael Drew and trying to play politics with Nevis, he has not for a moment or has not provided the actual figures for the revenue collected from the CBI since or for 2024. He has done so for 2022. And he spent most of that year collecting the money. And you can glean, my Straight Dog family, from your monitors that the actual revenue for 2022 was $669,358,624. That's for citizenship by investment fees. Look at 2024, my Straight Dog family. Look at 2023 figures, I should say. $620,754,000,000. And if we look at the projections for 2024, you will find there was somewhere around $398 million. Let's round it off to $400 million. So for 3 years, under Jew, he has collected $1.6 billion. How much of that he has given to Nevis? Divide that by 4. Nevis got how much? $96 million. $66 million, beg your pardon. He continues to pay. And Mark Brandt has even budgeted less for $35 million for this year. So why, if he was such a proponent of fair share, why didn't he give Nevis $400 million from saying he has been in? Because he has collected near $2 billion himself. But, my Straight Dog family, history does not judge nations by the eloquence of their leaders, but by their willingness to act when circumstances demand it. In a world that rewards strength and punishes complacency, those who lead must allow their actions to speak louder than their words. Otherwise, we risk becoming what history remembers as empty vessels, making the most noise, while the world moves decisively past us. With a CBI that is dead, yet some declare it its long life. My Straight Dog family. CBI is dead, while some continue declare it its long life. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I will entertain your calls and your emails any moment now. And I always like to implore you, before I do, momentarily, to respect others. And my Straight Dog family, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us strive to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial for all concerned. And in the process of saying and doing those things, let us strive, my Straight Dog family, to be a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines and say good night at 1 minute past the 9 o'clock hour. Good night to our first caller. You are live on Straight Talk. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liber.
Good night, my dear.
Fear may paralyze us.
Mm-hmm.
But action, even a trembling, uncertain one,
even a trembling, uncertain one,
is how we defy the fate set out for us.
Is how we defy the faith
set out for us.
Faith set out for us. Mm-hmm.
I repeat, fear may paralyze us, but action, even a trembling, uncertain one, is how we defy the fate set out for us. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much for your quotation. Always appropriate quotations coming from across the Narrows. This one no different. Fear may paralyze us, but action, even a trembling one, a trembling, uncertain one that should be, is how we defy the faith set out for us. And that's coming from across the Narrows, and our quotation for the night, my Street Dog family. And the lines are open. We're considering whether the CBI is dead and whether it would live long, according to the Brantley from across the Narrows as well. But declaring long life or long live CBI without fundamentally reimagining its purpose, governance, and role in national development is an act of self-deception, as I mentioned earlier. It's now 4 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour. Our lines are open. We are taking your calls by Street Dog family. Make certain that we are up and running here. Yes, we are. Yes, we are taking your calls, my Street Dog family. And at the same time, perhaps I should also establish whether we do have or look at our emails as well, so we can dispose of such simultaneously. And we will do so as we take our first email. This Straight Talk family member always write bold. I like it, so I need not squint or put pressure on my eyes. Good evening, it reads, Patches. Everything July said today is pure lies. Patches, which CARICOM country refuses to take back their nation, or nationals, that should be? Why did Lucifer and Dougie, as well as July, not come to a town hall and say so? And say, yo, we have decided to take in some criminals that Massa say we must take in, or else no nationals is going to get any business. Not a thing said. But remember, Massa grandson did tell us, we will do what we think you all like. We will do what you all will like, beg your pardon. It is not everything we're going to do you all do like. If do not vote, if you all do not like it, do not vote for us. Next elections, shameful Patches. But what you buy, you must put on. Good night. God bless and much respect. Let's go back to the lines. Thank this caller for holding. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Patches. Good night, Dr. Patches.
Good night, your humble servant.
I got to give you something great, like a doctorate, because let me tell you something, Patches. You bring everything down to the ordinary man and woman, down to the nitty-gritty. And I always saying that I hope people listening to this program, because this program will inform about the country, about what's going on in the world. Patches.
I'm humble.
So first, I always want to thank God for life, thank God for the Federation of Think It Nevis, a blessed country that way we could do better. But the politician never we elect to run our affairs of our country. Boy, they're bitter. Patches, they're bitter. They criticize one thing when they're in opposition, and when they get in government, they continue the same thing and do it worse. But anyway, we got the next a few more years to go before election come, and I hope the people then do what they got to do, because things ain't looking well, things ain't going well. Too much hypocrite going on in government and all these things, and we, the people in this country, we ain't vote for that. Now, Patches, talking about the what going on in the America and the Venezuela.
Yeah.
Patches, right now, when I listen to the other world leaders that speak out, especially Mr. Putin in China, in Russia, and Mr. Ching Wang Ping in China, and different leaders speaking out, Patches, it seemed to me like we're going to soon face a world war. Patches, and a third world war. And you know where we're going to start? Right down here in our small country in the Caribbean then. Because Patches, when we let the leaders them and they sell out our land to these rich investors coming in and taking our land, where food supposed to plant, where we supposed to raise animals and plant food for the people them, that ain't happening. Because of greed, everybody want a big cut. And this is what can happen. Patches, I always say after the sugar industry closed, Sink it Nevis could afford to feed itself because Nevis cut cane too. And Nevis lived down here too. And Nevis got the land up there too. And we could have exchanged because Patches, when I butcher a cattle, it's up Nevis me meat as well. When I got meat, I send it to Nevis. So these greedy politicians where we let and do this thing to our country, Patches, is we going to face it, you know, Mick? We're going to turn from one another. When players stop bringing food, when boys stop bringing food, we're going to turn from one another. This is how the war going to start. Because this is how they design it to be. Patches, this is how they design it to be.
Yep.
You see China and all this coming in, taking over, buying this land, buying this thing and buying all over, opening up different place. Is them going to take over the population out soon? Because we're going dead for hungry. And when we dead for hungry, the boat to come bring food, or bring this, or bring that. And we have food in our land to eat, to feed our people with it. This is how the situation, the country got, we Caribbean country got end up. These small country down here got end up. These guys know what they're doing in the patches, they know what they're doing. You see the target, you see what they're doing in Venezuela? Venezuela was helping the Caribbean with the oil. Helping the Caribbean with the oil. Remember, we used to buy it at a certain percent. These people ain't easy. That is our wonderful night. And if I get back, if I got any more things to say. Because we got to secure our country. And people in this country got to stop, look and listen. And see what's going on and stop the blind politics. Okay then, Patches.
Thank you very much for your intervention, Mr. Politics. Sound as usual. You raise a very important point, though, and a concerning one too about the Third World War. But I think what's happened is that the president of today, president of the U.S., I should say, has decided to take control of the Western Hemisphere. Because don't lose sight of the fact, I believe, that Venezuela accounts for the world's largest reserves. Hear that, the world's largest reserve, bigger than Saudi Arabia, and call all those oil-producing countries, of 300 billion barrels. And Venezuela's production has trickled right down to, I think, just 1 million barrels per day. But yes, it will be very interesting to see what is the outcome of this, and the issue as it relates to the sinister plans. I call it sinister plans that they was being planned. Sinister plans that were being calculated in terms of changing the U.S. dollar, in terms of getting the global oil price not in U.S. dollars. And these are issues that have never been been discussed in detail, but they will come to the fore. But I do believe that the U.S. and President Trump and his advisors, in terms of long term, they have decided that the time to control the Western Hemisphere is now. I mean, look at what's happening, or what happened in the Panama Canal, which was built by the U.S. when the Chinese controlled both ports at the canal, those at the entrance or departure, whichever way you look at it. Then you have the Venezuelan oil industry, which was actually developed by the U.S. and now you see what's happening. Chavez was the one who nationalized that industry, and I think the powers that be now decided it's time to take control of the Western Hemisphere. But just the lines I hope, my Straight Talk family, it's very interesting times in the world. And this email reads, "Good evening, Ambassador. New Year's greetings to you, family and Straight Talk followers. Be safe during 2026 and beyond. We do wish you the same as well. I read that Prime Minister Joe is about to take in refugees, which he claims would be from CARICOM countries. I wish the good doctor would name the CARICOM countries. Something is amiss. It boggles the mind. One love." Read this email. Yes, something is amiss. Joe is taking refugees, and he says the refugees are coming from CARICOM countries. Do you believe Terence Joe? Do you really believe Terence Joe, my Straight Talk family?
That St. Kitts and Nevis, of course, was approached by the United States of America as the other CARICOM countries, and we took a very proactive approach in sitting with the Americans to reach an arrangement that I think that arrangement is in keeping with our principles and, of course, having the collaboration with the United States of America as well. I know we are intelligent people. I know we have been looking very closely, and I know our people understand that the geopolitical environment at this time is not what we have been accustomed to. We know that there have been shifts, and so being proactive is very important, and I want to thank our people, of course, who have been involved in this. So St. Kitts and Nevis has negotiated and entered into a memorandum of understanding with the United States of America for the potential transfer of certain third country nationals. And I want us to listen carefully, who are citizens or nationals of the Caribbean community. This does not involve anybody outside of CARICOM.
And that's the most difficult part of his comment. And he did say that we are an intelligent people. And if we are an intelligent people, we understand that there are examples from other countries, Mexico and other Central American countries, received billions of dollars over time in migration-related aid, enforcement funding and development assistance tied to migration cooperation. Rwanda, the United Kingdom and the US linked cooperation. Migration acceptance linked to substantial financial packages. Think of Uganda, South Sudan, Eswatini, beg your pardon. Agreements accompanied by security assistance, development funding or human support. Panama and Costa Rica received US and multilateral funding for migrant reception. So what is the deal, Terence Michael Joe? What is the deal? At least Gaston Brown was more forthcoming. He said this.
the only thing that I am aware that would have been outstanding at the time, the United States had asked countries to sign an agreement to take refugees. Now, we would have written back to the State Department about 90 days ago, well, long before any action was taken, indicating that, look, if they have refugees or deportees for that matter, who they are trying to send to third countries, who may be involved in minor demeanors, but they have skills that can help us, we gladly take them. However, we made it abundantly clear, trying to upset nobody, but I reporting to my people, that we're not taking the criminal refugees from the third country. So, in any case, we signed an agreement which gives us the authority now that we accept whomever, and that the United States will provide intelligence. Again, I'm reporting to my people. This is not supposed to remain as no secret. I'm not trying to shade in anybody. I'm just stating what the issues are as I know them. And as far as I'm concerned, we continue to operate a government based on sound governance.
Let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Laibert. How are you doing? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well. I'm peaceful. What about yourself?
I'm giving thanks, man.
Good to hear you.
I find something very ironic when it comes to our Prime Minister and a person like Gaston Brown are willing to sign off with the United States to take deportees of foreign countries. Haiti, we claim, is our black brothers and sisters, part of our Caribbean community. Whenever Haitians find themselves seeking for a better life and reach on our shores, we do everything within our power to get them out of here.
True.
For us, they're not good enough. And when I say for us, for our leadership, they should not be here. So we send them out. How is it at this juncture we want to be taking in these foreign nationals? The Prime Minister claims that they are from different Caribbean countries. I do not believe him for 1 second. I haven't heard any of the leaders in the Caribbean say that they're not going to take back their nationals who are in the United States according to the government illegally, and they set them out. What is here, Patrice, is another quest for money. This government has run the country broke. They have mismanaged our resources. They give it away to rich billionaires and companies who are their friends. And they find themselves with their back against the wall. Yep. And they are, as it were, drowning. And we are told a drowning man grab at any straw. And these guys are grabbing at anything to bring money into the coffers of Nevis and St. Now here it is. The Premier of Nevis is hell bent, and I'm going to say that again, is hell bent in bringing in 10,000 families according to his handler, Janssen, on the south side of Nevis, which conservatively, we will say, is 3,000 persons. Okay, 30,000 persons, sorry. Because we have a mother, a father, and we say conservatively one child. That's 30,000 persons. Now he's held bent to bring in this. And when he and the Prime Minister are joining in bringing in deportees to add to that amount of persons, we as the people of this federation need to rise up and send a clear message to Dr. Joe and Mr. Brantley that you cannot treat us as you like and as you please. I had a conversation with somebody, with some people last night. I had the same conversation with someone this morning. And I told them, even though the proclamation has not been made, St. Kitts and Nevis has already signed off with the United States.
Yes.
When I hear the Premier of Nevis saying that the population of Nevis is too small, and then December, the Prime Minister said the very same thing, I concluded that these guys have already been in discussion with the United States and has made commitment with the United States that they are going to take the refugees that America do not want, and they're going to take them into a federation to make up our numbers.
Yep.
Now, we have already have high unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
People are struggling. When you bring these people inside here, will they be coming into to work?
Question.
According to Gaston Brown, those who have skills, he's going to employ them. Is that the same idea that our leaders have? No, the money that the United States is offering them for housing these people, is it a one-time payout, or is it an annual payout to the country for housing these people? And so these are questions that the Prime Minister must answer. How this payment is going to be done, at what duration the payment is going to last, whether it's a one-time payment or it is an annual payment. We need to know as a people. But we need to send a clear message to the Prime Minister that we do not want this in our country. Thank you very much.
Totally agree with you, my brother. Thanks for your intervention. Sound intervention as usual. And that's the question. The public question is not whether the U.S. is paying or not. The real question is, what, if anything, did Terrence Michael Drew receive or is promised to be given or will receive in exchange for this agreement? A memorandum of understanding was signed. And you heard Gaston Brown 90 days ago, 3 months ago, kept secret. And why was the public not told beforehand, in advance? These are not people that should be governing us. The sooner we get them out of office, the better this country will run. Patches, hear me now, reads this email. You heard you saying he negotiated with the United States and you just have to laugh. What negotiation? A tiny island of 50,000 people against Trump? A man who holds all the cards? Aid, visas, trade, sanctions? You think Jews sat there and bargained like equals? Come on. Trump doesn't negotiate. He tells you what to do. And you comply or face the consequences. Andrew, he calls it proactive diplomacy, collaboration, all fancy words to make submissions sound like victory. And the money. Rumor is $5 million per refugee he got. Enough to make any small island swallow a deal pushed by a superpower. So when Drew says he negotiated, listeners know the truth. He didn't negotiate. He bowed low like a bulrush by the river. He submitted, he capitulated, and now he wants us to clap for it. That is pure theater, reads that email. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding the caller. You're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, man. Great show tonight, as usual.
Thank you, my brother.
I like the callers so far. The emails right on point.
Thank you.
Our politicians are not being truthful to us. Behind the scenes, these guys are so corrupted, it ain't funny. The people can mobilize during Culturama and Carnival, but they can't mobilize to save their own country and their own children's future. And I thank that caller from Nevis, the gentleman from Nevis. Right on point. The Prime Minister is playing politics. Patches, it's a lot of stuff going on. So much stuff is going on. Something I don't disagree know where to start, bro.
That is so true. That is so true.
But it's so much going on, man.
That is so
I didn't
true.
see the foreign minister at the round table today. And if he was, somebody can correct me. Maybe I'm blind. I didn't see the AG there. With all that's what's going on, you want to tell me the Prime Minister going to be at this round table by himself? And he has now picked up an extra responsibilities to be the chair of CARICOM. The man has his hands filled. It's a disadvantage for him. But we're going to see what a leader he is. Imagine Gaston Brown 90 days ago, 3 months ago, already done had these agreements with the United States. Or whatever the statements he made was. I mentioned something before, and the caller from Nevis, he alluded to it. The Haitians.
Yep.
Our sisters and brothers from Haiti, when they were in dire need to escape their conditions on their ground in their country. Haiti, I understand, is part of CARICOM, but the CARICOM islands in the Caribbean did not help them. Me personally, I had made a suggestion. Help out the Haitians, meet them into our country and help them out. You know, those people, they got skills as well. And they're brilliant people. And they are our brothers and sisters. Meet them in for a minute, put a cap on it, and adjust our own immigration policy to facilitate that. We complain to all degree. We don't want them here. That was the bottom line that I got back from our own leaders. They rejected the Haitians. But now, Uncle Sam coming down with a big stick. And they're bowing out. Man, since the U.S. went into Venezuela last weekend, to now, can we see how much and how rapidly things has changed and how the geopolitics is playing out? You see how our leaders they're bowing down so rapidly now. You know what I mean? Man, the USA got these people just like how they want them, bro. They're going to follow the rules of Babylon now because guess what? The visa access that we so desperately need, see how smart the Trump administration and his advisors are. They have already now linked that. The problems that America has and what they're trying to work out and solve in terms of their national security and stuff like that, they have linked this to those CBI islands in the Caribbean. If you don't do what we say, we're going to block you all from coming to this country. I coined the term battle of the visas.
Okay.
America took it there.
Okay.
And our politicians again last week, they're too corrupted, and all of them, they're lying to the people. The people need to mobilize and break the system. Thanks a lot, Patches.
Thank you very much as well for your intervention. And we remember our quotation for tonight. Fear may paralyze us, but action, even the trembling, uncertain one, is how we defy the faith set out for us. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello,
Mr. Liebert. Mr. Liebert.
Yes, ma'am.
This thing is so frightening, right? Because we don't even know who coming down to our shores. They might be rapists. You have to think about the children them who walking back and forth to school. Who knows, they might go to the school and take the children out of school. It's very, very frightening.
Yes, it is.
Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. And our leaders have an obligation to inform us. It's not their call. It is a people's call. It is a people's government. They are representatives of the people. And that's the part I don't understand. They believe they are above everything, inclusive of the people who gave them that authority. Patches reads this email. July is a crazy man. I heard him say today that these people who are coming here are not criminals. Is July going to screen these people and find out their background? Hell no. He don't have a choice. He will have to accept anyone they send to him. Once again, our government has disrespected us and don't care about our opinion and concerns, reads this email. Well put, well said, emailer. This other email reads, Dear Mr. Liburd, I have had enough of staying silent, so I am speaking out. For 6 years, Ultra has dominated the Band of the Year award, sparking rumors of a fix or influence over the judges. This year's winner Lux was a given. It was too obvious. My advice to other band leaders is to boycott the parade, leaving Ultra to go solo. Another issue is the cheap crowns handed out to winners. Why not ask Derek Fritz to sponsor or source them? He's done a great job with crowns in the past, and his idea of winners keeping their crowns is a hit. We need Derek back, and we need transparency in the Carnival Committee's dealings. Thank you for reading. Yes, that's a plug for Derek Freights, Derek V. Freights to be exact, my brother from another mother. Patches reads this other email. Our so-called reporters and journalists never fail to disappoint me. These people seem like they don't want to ask tough questions of the government, and especially July, who just keeps chatting crap right in front of their faces. And they don't ask him to explain or clarify anything. July said something today that needed an explanation, like the people coming here are not criminals. None of the reporters asked him how can he know that. These so-called reporters and journalists should stay home and don't show up at July's so-called round table or press conference. It's a waste of time. If they don't want to ask tough questions, are they so afraid of this compulsive liar July? We need back but David, Ken Richards, and Tony Frederick. These reporters were never afraid to ask tough questions of any government or politicians, and they also did investigative journalism. Yes, what we have today is what we call palace guards, my straight dog family, and that is so sad. When you hear Terence Michael Drew lying through his teeth, as my grandmother would say, he lies like when the horse or a horse is trotting. And if you have joined me belatedly, my straight dog family, our thesis we have advanced tonight, I have titled, CBI is dead, yet some declare its long life. And I made the point that we have been told repeatedly that our citizenship by investment program, our CBI program, is dead. Yet in the same breath, one of them who helped to kill the CBI, that one is Mark Brantley, is promoting its reorientation from within with a view towards looking, in his own words, meaningful investment. But we all must be wary. Yes, we must be cautious, because this same Mark Brantley told us that when he went to law school over 30 years ago, 3 decades, he graduated number 1 in the Caribbean, number 1 in class. And he said this, remember, my Stray Dog family. Mark Brantley said this.
When I graduated law school at the Norman Manley Law School in 1994, Mark Brantley from Henley Park and Brownhill was number 1 in the Caribbean at Norman Manley Law School. And I went to Jamaica in 1994 and I graduated number 1 in class. I got a certificate of merit. It was only the 4th time in the history of the Norman Manley Law School that a certificate of merit had been awarded. You know why I'm saying that? I am saying that because nobody could outsmart me.
And my Stray Dog family, the man is bright like a 25-watt bulb. He told us that nobody could outsmart him. But he's still trying to enthusiastically declare a long life for the program. One that, from its very inception, has been fraught with corruption, facilitated money laundering by illicit actors, and the list goes on. But this contradiction is not merely ironic, it is hypocritical and deeply revealing when he uses that tone, where, and acts as if what he's saying is true, when it really is not. Because Mark Brantley was clearly behind the destruction of Timothy Harris, and by some other means, they destroyed, they mash up the CBI. But the mindset of Brantley reminds me of the 15th century France, when the phrase, "the king is dead, long live the king," was proclaimed from the instant the coffin of the old monarch descended into the church vault. But that declaration is less about truth than about preserving continuity and power, regardless of the circumstances. Today, the same logic appears to be at play. One program must be buried to legitimize another. Yes, kill the CBI in its current form and bring the current controversial project called Destiny, even when the latter's record is far more troubling. 5.5 thousand shares sold on the prison project, as it is called. That was a scam. So what is this 10,000 shares being sold on the Destiny project? And as the caller intimated earlier, he used 3, but I prefer to use 4. A family of 2 children, a wife and 2 children rather, and the applicant, that's 4. So 10 times 4 gives you 40,000 people. 40,000 people, my Stray Dog family, will descend eventually, God forbid, if this project goes forward. And someone has to stop it. Caller, you're alive. Hello, caller.
Yes. Good night, Brother Patches. Good night to all the listeners.
Good night, sir.
Home and abroad, wherever you are. This is the voice of Winston Welcome, one of your potential candidates for the next upcoming election. As I will say, well. Repeat, well again. You have summed it up again, Patches. Look at the record of the Labour administration and its leader. What good mark that we can give to this administration? 0. 0, 0, 0. Now, Look at what's been going on and what continue to goes on. No transparency, disrespect of the people who voted for the Labour administration and its leader. And look how they are being treated. Disrespect. Or they still have confidence in this administration moving forward? Or they will continue to condone and affirm. Now, you mentioned something too in your thesis. You said the country took in, I stand for correction, about over $1 billion from CBI to now and divided by 4. Can you repeat that again? Where those monies has gone? I stand for correction.
Well, I was just referring to the period since Joe is in office.
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
But I stand for correction.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. You're correct.
Look at 50,000, 55,000 people in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Every citizen of the Federation should have been in tip-top condition. No, poverty would be knocking, there would not be a chance for poverty to be knocking at your doors. And St. Kitts is a poverty country. St. Kitts is a dilapidated country because of how they're being treated by their leaders. And the leaders are supposed to be sympathetic, empathetic, and compassionate. And there is no way. Empathy has been running away from these people because it is contrary.
But you would say St. Kitts is dilapidated, though?
Huh?
You would say that St. Kitts is dilapidated? That's what you said? You find so?
Due to the fact of how the leaders treat the people should have been in better condition. The country should have been in better condition.
Okay.
Look at all the promises that were made to do this, to do that. What has been done? And where all these billions of dollars gone? Where all these millions of dollars has been gone? It is in their pocket. And now, moving forward to the update. All these deportees or whatever you may call them, criminal or whatever.
Refugees, they call them.
Come into our country and no consultation with the people. Regardless to who want to negotiate and make deals, put it to the people. The people is the government. You are only there to represent. The government does not belong to you. People who sitting there behind a desk with a tie. We don't need y'all. I have no confidence. And to the people of the Federation of St. Kitts, please, the election is near. Do the right thing. Don't put these people back into office. Just give them a one-way ticket and sail them straight out to nowhere. But don't come back in this direction of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And to all the Caribbean leaders, you all are not communicating neither with each other. Because you see a country is running down stupidly, foolishly, and you all are not saying anything. You need a leader that who will be tough and empathetic and transparent so that the Caribbean can unite and we sing one harmonious song together. I will leave it there and I will come again if I get another chance. Thank you for the time. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, my Straight Talk family. Premier Brantley, I would repeat, lied to his people about not knowing about this deal. So when he gets and lies in the same pillar or the pillar next to Sharon Mama Brantley. He wasn't aware that she was contacting landowners since 2022. But I'll get back to that. Let me go to take this call and I'll come back to that, my Street Talk family. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good evening. I have to call you again a second time.
That's okay.
And this time it has to do with there is a growing cry in St. Kitts and Nevis that there is a shortage of housing. Almost every day I come across persons in Nevis who are asking if I know of anybody has a place that they could rent. It seems to be the very same cry in St. Kitts. As a matter of fact, the minister at one time says that there is a backlog. There's a lot of people who need housing. So then, if we do not have enough housing to serve the people that are now in the country, where are we going to find housing to house these people that are coming in here?
Good question.
They are going to put them at a hotel? They're going to put them in one of our community centers, configure them for them to enter into? That is something that we need to consider, because if we do not have enough ourselves, how are we going to bring in others? Now, let us go to destiny. Just, everything surrounding destiny is dishonest or dishonesty. Johnson said that he did not want anybody to know what he was doing. The Premier of Nevis lied when he was asked about this matter. He too didn't want anybody to know.
True.
But I want people to understand that this promise of jobs, and billions of dollars coming into the country is not a reality according to Johnson. Johnson's own words were that he is looking for a place where rich families can rear their families in a place of security. He said St. Kitts and Nevis is high crime. And he wants this zone so that his rich friends can raise their family. And then secondly, he says, a place where there'll be little or no taxation. And he made it abundantly clear that this is his main thrust. That is what is important to him. These two very things. Not jobs, not development, not interest in the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, but the interest of his friends, and that he wants his own court system. They want their own court system where they will have arbitrations among themselves. And if somebody is aggrieved, when the arbitration is over, then they could appeal to the court of St. Kitts and Nevis. But as I know from following news across the world, that when people sit down and sign an agreement to go into arbitration, they've made up an agreement that whatever the arbitrator decisions are, that is what they're going to abide by. And so here it is that they are taking us for a ride. There's no whole lot of jobs coming into the Federation. Not only that, but Johnson is saying that he's going to build out his destiny housing community using CBI money.
Yes.
And so again, here it is, we are bringing in people to give them our passports to come into this country to take us for a ride. They ain't bringing in the money. Johnson is not going to be spending his money if he has a whole lot of money. He is going to be banking just like Christoph Harbour and all of those that came in, took our CBI money, made billions off of us, and they run along. Johnson is going to do the very same thing. The last thing I'm going to say, Patrick, is this. There was a company came here from Canada named Newfound. And the CCM government bought the Pinny's estate around and sold that estate to Newfound, claiming that Newfound is going to build a hotel and they're going to bring in jobs and millions of dollars in the community. Newfound disappeared. What happened? They own the land. It is theirs. It is not back with the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. It is there for them to do whatever they want to do with. The very same thing here. When Johnson is allowed to buy out that South Coast, whether his project comes off or it fails, he will own the South Coast of Nevis.
Yes.
And there's nothing we'll be able to do about that if we sell him our lands. And the Premier of Nevis is encouraging us to sell our lands. But I have two questions to ask. Spencer Brand, we are told he was given CBI receipts valued over $1 million to put a project in the South Coast. Has he sold his land? Did he sold his CBI receipts to Johnson? And then we are told that the Premier has land somewhere in that area. Has he sold his land to Johnson? I don't know. But I'm saying to all those people who would have had some sort of agreement with Johnson, secretive because they did not know what he's doing, according to him, now that they find out what he's doing, I want to say to them, seek some legal advice and tell Johnson, I am not going to sell you my land for this. Says to Sharon Brantley, no, I'm not going to go through with this. You deceived me into signing an agreement with you. And so now, I am going to back out of that agreement. I would love to hear what the legal luminaries will have to say about this. Thank you again for your time, my brother.
Thank you very much as well, my brother. Well said. And we can confirm, Straight Talk can confirm what you advance. Yes, Oliver Johnson said Nevis was not safe.
People really want to have a safe place to live with strict rule of law where they know their family can live. If you're wealthy, you'll be safe. And it's more about that for me, right? It's not about having a country whatsoever. You just need the safety. You need the right internal rules and regulations to make sure you can be safe. And that's the most important part. You don't need your own country from that. You can have a special economic zone in the world, like in the DIFC. Why is Monaco and the DIFC so attractive? And that's also answering the question why, right? The DIFC and Monaco are one of the safest places in the world. Why does it attract so many affluent individuals? Number one is safety for your family, right? When you have a family, number one you care about is my family safe? The second thing people care about, I would say, is between weather and taxation. In Monaco, you feel super safe because it's very safe. You don't have to pay taxes. You're in a great climate. Unfortunately, Monaco is fully built. It's high-rise. It's not that enjoyable to live. Dubai is way too hot, right? Is an equivalent in terms of safety and taxation and climate in the Caribbean? Right now, there is not, right? St. Kitts and Nevis is not safe. It's pretty bad in terms of crime. And I'm just saying what's out there, right? I am not judging it. I'm just saying to attract that type of people, you need to be safe.
And yes, he confirmed it was a CBI project.
Is the project a CBI project?
We're still discussing with the government, of course, but yes, the idea is that people that buy a unit can also or get a passport with that. So it also increases the CBI income, because the CBI income has been drying up substantially. It's also a big concern for the island, so it can definitely help rejuvenate the whole passport program.
Thank you very much. Caller, I want to thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Yes. Greetings, Brother Patches. Pleasant good night to you and the listening audience.
Good night, my brother.
You know, my brother, I mean to say, we're in a sad situation, but, and I don't think we people you see how we're attacking each other now and blaming each other for everything. The colonizer, the imperialists, them, have put down the gauntlet. And we still ain't getting it. You know, we're talking about all the leaders in the Caribbean have accepted this deal here in terms of accepting so-called refugees or deportees. Now, we want to know now. Here the question we asking, whether criminals will be coming in. As long as you're black, you're a criminal. As black people are criminals in the eyes of Mr. Trump them. The CBI, you're talking about the CBI. The US government mash up the CBI.
Before you move to the CBI though, do you believe, Terence Drew, that they're only accepting the MOU signed by St. Kitts and Nevis only governs citizens who are CARICOM citizens?
No, what I'm saying to you, brother,
that's a question. Did you say no? Did you believe?
No.
What you say?
Phrase the question again.
Terence Michael Drew, our Prime Minister, said that they're only accepting refugees who are from the Caribbean or CARICOM refugees. Do you believe him?
Whatever Trump tell them, they got to accept.
So you believe Trump told him just take from the CARICOM? That's what he said?
No, brother Patrick, listen what I'm saying to you. Listen me carefully.
I'm listening.
Whatever Trump tell them to do, they got to do.
So are you saying that Trump told him just to accept from the Caribbean and take it from anywhere?
Hear me again. Trump could send him the land down here, they got to accept him.
Okay.
Come on, man. Let's stop playing games.
Go ahead,
I'm saying to you.
Make a point, my brother. Make a point.
Yeah, I'm saying to our people, brother, 2026 is the 400th anniversary of the liquidation, the genocide, the extermination of the native people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We have to crossroads people. It's time to stop playing games. These colonialists is not playing games with us.
So what's the point you're making?
You see, the
point. I'm trying to get your point.
The point is, if you go into Venezuela, kidnap Maduro, what about us? It could happen to any one of us. That's the point I'm making.
We understand that point. We witnessed that in St. Kitts before, so that's nothing new.
But not only that, you forget President Aristide.
Yeah, but so
you see? But the point I'm saying to you, my brother, it's time for us to sit.
What the U.S. said, law enforcement went and got him because he committed crimes against the people of the U.S.
But come on, Patrick, you're saying what the U.S. say.
But
I told you already.
I read excerpts from the what you call the
indictment.
Indictment, yeah.
Okay. Do you know what the U.S. doing now?
Yeah, but
the U.S.
is gone before court of law. It will be so.
But what I'm saying, who's court of law?
Yeah, but
the U.S. did look, Patrick, let me tell you something. The same court, the Southern District of New York, right? When I was in New York, the lack of our leadership in New York is in the same Southern court.
Yeah, but
and the Giuliani.
Yeah, but it is a court of law. I mean, so he'll have his.
But the court of law is not legitimate. It's a U.S. court of law. It's not an international court of law.
So only international courts are legitimate. That's what you're saying.
But who said the U.S. court is illegitimate?
Who says not? You?
But okay, it's legitimate. But the U.S. court, the Supreme Court of the United States say, right, that the black man has no right, that the white man is bound to respect the Dred Scott decision
of
1857.
Anyway, that's how many years, how many centuries ago? That's 2 centuries.
From 1857, the Dred Scott case.
Yeah, but that's a couple of centuries ago, right?
Yeah, but it's the same court.
Anyway, make it. Let's wrap. Let's wrap because
but you see, that's what I'm saying. We don't want to face the reality.
What's the reality?
The reality is that white supremacy is going to put us back in slavery if we don't deal with this thing right.
So
we ain't getting it. We are attacking one another. We're not each other's enemy.
How can you say people are attacking one another when people are attacking, to use your words, and I don't like the word, but I'll use it for reference. They're talking about 10,000 people to descend on Nevis. They're going to be black people?
Yeah.
But those are what the people are talking about. Those are what they're talking about.
Yeah, but what I'm saying.
You just join the program?
What I'm saying, Brother Patchy.
We're attacking one another coming in. A guy said
hear what I'm saying. Hear what I'm saying.
A guy said that he was contacted in 2022 by the wife of the Premier, Sharon Mama Brantley, to buy his land.
I heard all of that. I heard that. Listen what I'm saying to you.
About that?
Why we don't... Okay, hear this. Hear my idea. Why we don't sit down as a people in St. Kitts and Nevis and trash out our differences so we could come up with something to deal with these problems?
How are you going to trash out when you have a system here with the government in power, the existing incumbent government? They came in and they just discard people around them and bring in their own people. They don't want to talk to this person. They want to
if they don't want to trash out anything, that means they're against us.
Okay, all right, okay.
Come on, man.
I'll give you one more. I'll give you 10 more seconds.
You know,
I don't quite understand. I don't quite understand the point tonight, though, but I'll give you 10 seconds.
You don't understand the same point I'm making.
I don't quite understand.
I'm saying to you, Mr. Trump said that black people is garbage. He called the congressman from Somalia garbage and he's going to send them back to Somalia. He said we are garbage.
So what has to do with our conversation tonight? You talk about people.
How are we going to let 40,000 white people come in here if we garbage?
But that is what the people are protesting.
But that's what I'm saying. So that is the thing we got to deal with.
What are you saying? We're fighting each other. Everybody is saying that Brantley lied to his people. Everybody is saying
Brantley lied to the people. I'm saying to you, let me say to Mr. Brantley.
Yes.
And the Prime Minister and everybody. Brothers, we have a problem here. Let's sit down and trash out these things. If they don't want to do it, then they're against us.
But you believe that what Drew did, he just found out about these refugees? And
no, because I got the document here from the Prime Minister from Antigua. 90 days ago, this thing was signed.
Right, so that's just what we're saying. We're not against him. We're saying he's a liar. That's what we're saying.
Okay, but hear what I'm saying. Okay, fine. He's a liar. Okay, let me ask you a question. It was a different...
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's say you was the Prime Minister. You will accept that?
Accept what?
What he signed.
I don't know what he's saying. In terms
of accepting the deportees.
I don't know what he signs. I can say yeah.
Okay. This is the Antigua one. This is the Antigua one. I got it right here.
I have what Gaston Brown said. He said about skills and so on, right? All our presidents said about.
So you believe that?
I'm not telling you what he said. Is that the question whether I believe him or not?
God, you're telling me what he said. But what I'm telling you, whatever Donald Trump tell them to do, they gotta do.
Okay, my brother. Okay.
I mean, come on, man. It's not rocket science.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, my brother. Always provocative. I don't necessarily agree with
Donald Trump said black people is garbage. He said so.
I don't agree with everything you say, but I accept it, right? You're entitled to your view, and that's what straight talk is all about. I'll give you 5 seconds, but you agree that Brantley lied, you agree that Drew lied, and that's good enough for me tonight.
No, but the point is that we are getting out of some white supremacy. That is the problem.
I thought for a moment, my brother. I thought for a moment you had gone the other side since you got a trip, but I realized
because that's what I'm saying. You're playing politics. You don't want to. You don't want to deal with reality. I'm saying to you.
Don't show. You need to show.
No, listen what I'm saying to you. Listen what I'm saying to you.
I said for a moment. Listen, you're my brother, right? I can say this to you. I'm gonna hide to say this. I thought for a moment you had changed your colors because I got a trip to it. Was we went to Ethiopia?
But because that's how you're gonna put it. That's what I'm saying. That's how colonialism works in your mind. Because what I'm saying to you.
I'm not enough to say that you seem to have woken up. But anyway, thanks a lot for your.
I'm not woken up. I was always this way. The point I'm making. Donald Trump said we are garbage.
Okay, my brother. I got you loud and clear.
You mean all of us?
Okay. I got you. Thanks a lot, my brother. I'll take 2 more calls before we leave tonight. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller, you're live.
Is this Patrick?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want the caller before them, my partner here, he asked about it. I mean, he said we got to come together. But where does we come together? How does we come together if our leaders is not being upfront with us? If they saying something 3 months and then come after the conversation to us, how we get together? How can we come together?
Exactly.
I mean, the point is, he's on something. We got to get together. But first thing, he seems like he want to take the leaders out of the coming together. Mm-hmm. The people can't do it. The people is saying, come to us, be upfront with us. Yes. It's not about... This is not about Trump not walking around with a big stick. It's about our leaders not being honest to us.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Simple.
It's simple like that. Anyway, okay.
Thanks a lot for your input, my brother. Yes, it's about the propensity for our leaders to lie. And our grandmother always told us growing up, where you find a liar, you know what you find there. But my Straight Talk family, my time is done and I gotta run. If I don't, sometimes we can stay here all night, but we have to move on because it's 10 past the 10 o'clock hour. We looked at the CBI, our title of our thesis tonight, CBI is dead, yet some declare its long life. We looked at the lies, continuing lies of Terrence Michael Drew and Mark Brantley, because this good gentleman from Nevis said that the wife of Mark Anthony Graham Brantley approached him in 2022 and tried or gave him an offer to buy his land, and he was offended.
I mean, I was called since about 2.5, 3 years ago, maybe 2022, we opened when. All right, 2023, November. Yeah, I think it was. No, sorry, 2022, November, the first call. Our family's properties. And by the premise wife. I was aghast at the call. I was very annoyed. And the second time the call, I asked him, I was very belligerent in my response. Found it affronting. I didn't know anything about destiny. I didn't know anything what the needs were, but I found it offensive. Because nobody is indicating an interest in anything.
And Mark Brantley going to tell us he don't know his wife for selling his land. Caller, I'm out of time, but I'm going to give you 20 seconds. Can you use it?
Patrick, good night again.
Yes, Mr. Party.
I will get to wait till the next program to do what I got to say.
Give it 20 seconds. You can't say a lot in 30 seconds, man. Can you?
Okay, Patrick, yes. You know what I see going on in this the Federation of Nevis with our government, where the people elect? Patrick, the campaign strong when the farmer government had people on the PEP and have people on the peace program. They turn the program, when they get in, they turn it into a program called Elevate. Patrick, you know how much young men and women walking up and down, smoking up and down, drinking up and down, and every Friday they're going to the bank but collect money. These people ain't doing nothing. That's why I said they're making these things worse and worse when they get in there. And what I see right now again, they put in more people, and because election look like it coming up, a lot of people going back on the same Elevate program and the PEP program. I listened to a guy who was discussing with some of these young fellows. Said that you want them go down, you want them go down. And this the thing we're killing us. But listen to me. Now some of these guys, got a job. Some of them doing their own private work and still running into the bank every weekend, Friday, and collecting money. That is just because the election is coming up. But I calling on these young people, right, to let them know after this election done, and I elect back the government. This program run done with. I see with then for the ordinary man and woman in this country, they just above themselves and whosoever. And I want to know if people over 62 can vote this election coming up. Because as far as I'm concerned, they let go up people over 62, left, right, and center, bringing in a lot of young men and women from different jobs. We ain't work patches. We want skillful people. We want people that trade. We want people in hotels sector working our people, not people cutting grass and doing all kind of easy work and have a trade.
Okay.
All kind of people coming in and doing our skill work. Our young men and women just out here smoking and drinking because what? Are the systems.
Okay.
They criticize one government about one party about this thing when they was in, and the guy in there and they're rampant doing this thing.
Okay.
This is what college them supposed to talk about. That's college is the thing we're supposed to talk about too.
Okay, my brother.
Okay, that is a wonderful night.
Thank you, my brother. That's the way we're going to end these calls tonight. And our final email. Hi, good night, Mr. Liebert. Happy birthday to Kevin Hanley of Hamilton Estate, your junior brigade. Yes, Kevin, my junior brigade, a happy birthday to you. If you are still up, school is tomorrow, so you might be sleeping. Your mom or your dad will tell you happy birthday from Straight Talk to my junior brigade, Kevin. And my Straight Talk family, the issues are many. Drew said he signed a memorandum of understanding, which he had over 3 months ago.
That St. Kitts and Nevis, of course, was approached by the United States of America as the other CARICOM countries, and we took a very proactive approach in sitting with the Americans to reach an arrangement that I think that arrangement is in keeping with our principles and, of course, having the collaboration with the United States of America as well. I know we are intelligent people. I know we have been looking very closely, and I know our people understand that the geopolitical environment at this time is not what we have been accustomed to. We know that there have been shifts, and so being proactive is very important, and I want to thank our people, of course, who have been involved in this. So St. Kitts and Nevis has negotiated and entered into a memorandum of understanding with the United States of America for the potential transfer of certain third country nationals. And I want us to listen carefully, who are citizens or nationals of the Caribbean community. This does not involve anybody outside of CARICOM.
And we understand the Caribbean community as CARICOM. But his Caribbean colleague leader said this.
The only thing that I am aware that would have been outstanding at the time, the United States had asked countries to sign an agreement to take refugees. Now, we would have written back to the State Department about 90 days ago, well, long before any action was taken, indicating that, look, if they have refugees or deportees for that matter who they are trying to send to third countries, who may be involved in minor demeanors, but they have skills that can help us. We gladly take them. However, we made it abundantly clear, trying to upset nobody, but I reporting to my people that we're not taking the criminal refugees from the third country. So, in any case, we signed an agreement which gives us the authority now that we accept whomever and that the United States will provide intelligence. Again, I'm reporting to my people. This is not supposed to remain as no secret. I'm not trying to shade in anybody. I'm just stating what the issues are as I know them. And as far as I'm concerned, we continue to operate a government based on sound governance.
And according to Gaston Brown, we take from whomever. Drew, quite strange, will only take from the Caribbean community. But my Straight Talk family, as we end, the question is not which program, as we were looking at our thesis, our CBI is dead, yet some declare it's long life. But we are looking at whether honesty and accountability can survive. The people are not consulted anymore, but the people must be consulted to get the answer. According to Herbert, don't just bring people from Mars. So without them, without honesty and accountability, we risk repeating history, celebrating the coronation of a new king, while ignoring the rot that lies beneath the crown. But my Straight Talk family, we live in a world, as I conclude, defined by unpredictability, uncertainty, and complexity. It is a world where power still matters, where strength often overrides principle, and where small states must confront an uncomfortable truth. That is, geopolitics is not a game designed for the weak. It is within this harsh global reality that the debate of CBI or over CBI must be understood. Some continue to proclaim its longevity, insisting that CBI is alive and well, that the evidence increasingly suggests otherwise. In truth, CBI is dead. What remains is a political illusion sustained by rhetoric, denial, and inertia. For small states like St. Kitts and Nevis that depend on visa-free access and international credibility, this is not a warning to be debated endlessly. It is a red line. Yet, despite this clarity, there remains a troubling complacency among leaders like our leader, Terence Michael Joe, who speak as though yesterday's assurance still hold value in today's strategic environment. Governance in the modern era is no longer about declarations from podiums or from a high office. It's about national security architecture, enforceable legal frameworks, credible due diligence systems, human development, and sustainable foreign direct investment. My Straight Talk family, as we conclude tonight, I must leave you with my quotation as well that I got very early. Fear may paralyze us, but action, even a trembling, uncertain one, is how we defy the faith set out for us. My Straight Talk family, declaring long live CBI without fundamentally reimagining its purpose, governance, and role in national development is an act of self-deception. If CBI is to have any future, it cannot exist as a cash for passports mechanism, insulated from global scrutiny. It must be embedded within a broader national security framework, aligned with international norms and subordinated to a serious strategy for human capital development and diversified productive investment. Anything less accelerates its demise. History does not judge nations by the eloquence of their leaders, but by their willingness to act when circumstances demand it. In a world that rewards strength and punishes complacency, those who lead must allow their actions to speak louder than their words. Otherwise, we risk all becoming what history remembers as empty vessels, making the most noise, while the world moves decisively past us. With a CBI that is dead, yet some declare its long life. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I must thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight as always. I must thank all your viewers, those who listen somehow by some medium, on social media, Facebook, YouTube, and my Straight Dog family. Remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Be good to all whom you meet. And my Straight Dog family, keep moving on. We connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until then, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Bye-bye, my Straight Dog family.
For the morning light, give him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night, for the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve. You better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren